Yep. Hi, Ange. Just first of all, how's the squad looking ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah. So from the other night, the only issue obviously is Dyson, who, fair to say, has improved. He didn't train today. He was still working with them sort of physios, but he has improved, and I'll see how he is tomorrow. Fair to say he's kind of 50-50 for it. But everyone else who played and the ones who didn't play are all fine to go.
If I could just pick up on something you mentioned the other night. You said that sometimes you maybe get frustrated because Kyogo isn't used to his maximum potential at times because maybe his runs aren't always found by his teammates. I just wonder how that can maybe be solved going forward in terms of helping him and take his game up another level.
Yeah, it's not about sort of him taking his game up another level. Like I said, he's kind of doing his role really well, and he's really disciplined. It's just that at times we don't, see the potential for, what can come of his movement. Now, like I said, I get frustrated, but that's because I'm kind of wanting perfection like most managers, and that doesn't exist. But Kyogo's movement, I think, is outstanding. It's the best I've ever seen, and he's so hard to pick up for the opposition. And I think sometimes it's hard to pick up for us, to know when exactly to play it. But I just felt the other night, there was some good opportunities for us to give him more of the ball, as we did with the goal he set up and the goal he scored. And it's just to be aware of it. And the only way you get better at that is just keep improving on it. We give feedback to the players, work on it at training, and sort of try and see if we can maximise. If a game, it's not every game because some games there just isn't the space there to do that, but where there is space, that we try and utilise that.
Hi, Ange. Just before I got onto the game, obviously with the success that Celtic have got this season, that comes with it you being linked with jobs, and we've spoken about it before. And Spurs is the latest one that you're reportedly being linked with a move to if and when their manager leaves. What do you take from that? Do you just take it that obviously you're doing a good job and the team's doing a good job? Do you just look at it in that sense?
No, like I said in the past, I don't look at it at all. It's just not of interest to me, and it's not, I don't wake up and sort of get a daily briefing on the latest gossip, you know, um, whether that's football or non-football related. It's, I get up every morning and I come to work and sort of deal with what's in front of me, and the rest of it, it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect the people around me. Like I said, it's just, like most things, people want to have something to talk about, and they pick things that, fairly obscure, and you can sort of run with without worrying too much of any factual evidence behind it.
In terms of the game on Saturday, obviously you played Hearts during the week. What are you expecting from them in this cup tie, given how many changes Robbie made on Wednesday?
Oh, look, I think irrespective, even if we were going in with the same lineup and they were going in with the same lineup, it's a cup game. It's a different sort of beast to a league game. It's away from home as opposed to home. So irrespective of the kind of lineup or formation or any of those kind of things, it's a different challenge. As I said, leading into these two games, it's pretty easy to differentiate one with the other because, like I said, there's cup games have always got a sort of different nature about them, and playing away is different as well. So we understand that we've prepared, as we always do for every game, that it's going to be a different challenge tomorrow, and understanding what we can bring to that, and making sure that, like the other night, we have a really strong mentality in playing our football, and knowing that the solutions to whatever the challenge may be tomorrow, and we don't know what that may be, we find within that context.
Hi, Ange. Just on that trip to Tynecastle, I wondered, obviously the last game there was a 7-goal thriller. Are you expecting another game where both teams go for it, or do you think it might be more cagey given it's knockout and only one can go through?
Well, it's hard to say because it is a cup game, and like I said, the nature of cup games is that, I think both, sets of clubs and players and everyone knows that, there's either progression or you're out of the tournament. So with that context, it always means that games are a little bit edgier than normal league games, and even within the context of the game, you rarely see blowouts one way or another, because teams just kind of hang in there because they don't want to let go of that opportunity. So as I said, for us, we just got to be prepared for whatever the challenge may be. We're preparing for a tough game, a difficult game. We would be anyway when you get to this stage of a cup, but particularly when you're playing against a good side away from home.
Hi, Ange. Wednesday night was your 100th game in charge at Celtic, and I think you said ahead of Wednesday night that it would have been long odds when you first arrived that you would reach that milestone. As per the banner that was at Celtic Park that said here's to 100 more, what would you make the odds for you to go for 100 more games?
I'm not a betting man, mate, so I'll leave the odds to others. I was remarking on the fact that others didn't think I would last that long, and I'd hazard to guess that not many would think I'd be around for 100 more for a number of reasons. So, but all I'm worried about is 101. Let's make sure that one's a good one.
Okay, and how pleased were you with Haksabanovic on Wednesday night? I'm sure, like most players, he might have been a bit disappointed not to start, but he came on, scored a great goal, and made a good impact.
Yeah, no, apart from his goal, like I said, he made a good impact, but he has been, he's sort of come on the last few games and had, critical moments of games, and he's done really well. He's training really well. Physically, he's probably in the best shape he's been sort of since he's got here. It's fair to say he's had a couple of disruptive periods, and he's doing really well. He's really, he's a clever player. He's always a threat going forward. He works hard for us from a defensive point of view. He's still pretty young. He's only 23, so he's still definitely got his best years ahead of him. And really pleased with the way he's progressing.
Yeah, the last game at Tynecastle, you had just about everything with the VAR as well as penalties. The strength of character, is that really important when you go to Tynecastle? I think you came back behind in that game, and the lead went from one team to the other. Is that going to be key tomorrow as well? Just that character that you've shown in throughout your time.
Yeah, it is important, but not just. I think it's important. What's important about that is that you do it constantly, and you can't. I've said before, you can't just sort of do these things in the big games or the games of consequence. It's not like a tap where you can turn it on and off. I think having a strong mindset, having a real strong belief in something that needs to be worked on a daily basis. And Wednesday night we needed to show a strong mentality, because especially in the first half we weren't as fluent as we usually are, and in that kind of scenario, very easy for guys to then go away from what we do and sort of maybe try individually to change the course of what we're doing. But we've done that. I think we've been consistent for a very long time, performance-wise and results-wise, and it's because the lads show a strong mindset on a daily basis, so that when game time comes around, it's part of who they are, part of what they do. I think if you're waiting for a big game to show that character or mindset, then I just don't think it works. I think you're going in there under false pretenses that somehow that you can whip something out that you don't use on a daily basis just because it's a big game.
I'm sure you've when you recruit players that you look into that the mindset, the character, but how do you hone that further? How do you make sure it's there on a daily basis?
Yeah, just the environment. It's what you do here on a daily basis. It's the lads are constantly challenged every day, and you need a strong mindset to do that. I mean, again, I've had a question today where somebody's asked whether, I think it was Haksabanovic was disappointed on missing out. Well, that doesn't come into the equation. Having a strong mindset means you're not disappointed on missing out. You're waiting for your opportunity to play. That's the difference. And like I said, we do that on a daily basis. I think all the players, know that they're never going to be in a space here with me where they're comfortable, where they know exactly what the next move is. They're constantly, put them in a position where they need to keep being the best they can be and keep improving themselves. And that's not easy because, again, human nature is you want to be comfortable, and it would be easy for me to sort of just because we've obviously been on a good run to relax things around here, and then people get sort of comfortable knowing that, yes, I'm going to play, I know where I fit in and all these kind of things, and that's where I think you lose that strong mindset. But if you're always a little bit uncertain about your place, then you deal with that on a daily basis, and that makes you stronger mentally, I believe.
Hi, Ange. Robbie Nielsen, post-match after the game the other night, was talking about the Bernabei challenge on Atkinson. He said that he thinks, teams need a decapitation at Celtic Park to get a red card. Do you think that's kind of mind games from the Hearts manager, given that you're playing them so close in a big cup game?
Look, I think I've said before, I think every manager's got the right and the prerogative to analyse games the way they want to. They can, sort of summarise it the way they want to. I did my summary after the game. I did my analysis. That's the feedback I gave to the players. What other managers say or think, it's of no interest to me. I don't know what sort of why I would take into account another person's view of what I've seen. It just doesn't, it doesn't register with me. It never has. So, like I said, every manager has the right to analyse and summarise a game the way they want to in their eyes, and that's fine by me. I've got no issue with that. But does that mean then I go away and say, oh my God, look what he said, or look what the other bloke said, or look what some person who's analysed the game said about our game? Then what the hell am I doing here? I mean, I gave my analysis, I gave my summary. I thought we weren't at our best in terms of our fluency. I thought we were better second half, and I thought we showed a really strong mindset to score 3 good goals and get the win. So that's all I need to sort of worry about.
People talk about Tynecastle, they talk about the atmosphere and the fact that the fans are right on top of you. Do you as a manager enjoy standing on the touchline in a stadium like that?
Well, I've got no choice. So I can't really sit sort of at home and watch it on the TV. I've got to be there. It's part of my role. So, that's where the position of the manager is. So I stand there and it's all good. I mean, we love football. We love the passion that's in football. Trust me, in my 26 years, there's not much I haven't heard behind my back from opposition supporters and sometimes my own supporters. So, you kind of understand that's just the passion that people bring to it. And it should be a great atmosphere. We're going to have a stand ourselves, which is, again, not something that's usual, which is great because I know our supporters will be nice and loud as well. So it should be a great game. And there's nowhere I'd rather be than sort of smack bang in the middle of it.